Have you ever really thought about what's happening inside a slot machine when you press that spin button? You see the lights, you hear all the bells and whistles, but what if I told you that two machines that look exactly the same could be playing two completely different games? Well, let's dive in and see what's really under the hood. And that's really the big question, isn't it? On the surface, they're identical, clones practically, but inside they have totally different brains. It's kind of like one is a solo artist playing its own game of chance, while the other, well, the other is in a massive high-speed tournament with pretty much everyone else on the casino floor. All right, so let's start by pulling back that shiny curtain. In this first part, we're going to get right into the illusion that's at the heart of so many casinos. And trust me, once you see this, you are never going to look at a slot machine the same way again. Okay, so this right here shows you just how good the illusion is. From where you're sitting, a Vegas-style slot, which is technically called a Class 3 machine, and something called a VGT, or a Class 2 machine, they look and feel exactly the same. You've got your spinning reels, you've got the crazy lights and sounds, the bonus rounds, and of course you press a button to play. The experience is identical. But the way they work? Oh, they couldn't be more different. So let's kick things off with the one most of us probably think of, the classic Vegas slot. We're going to pop the hood and take a look at its brain, and it really all comes down to one little but super important piece of technology. And that piece of tech is the random number generator, or as everyone calls it, the RNG. This is the machine's entire brain. It's basically a computer program that is just constantly, and I mean constantly, cycling through billions of number combinations every single second. This machine is the solo artist of the casino. Every spin is its own little world, a totally independent, completely random event that has nothing to do with any other machine. The process for this is actually super straightforward. The instant, and I mean the very microsecond you hit spin, the RNG just freezes on whatever number it was on at that exact moment. That number is tied to a specific outcome in the machine's memory, so all that drama with the reel spinning, that's just for show. It's pure entertainment. The result was already decided the second your finger touched the button. And here's the absolute most important thing to remember about a Vegas slot. That machine has zero memory. It doesn't know you just hit a jackpot, and it couldn't care less that you've been losing for an hour. Every single time you press that button, it's a completely fresh start, a totally random, standalone event. Okay, so let's switch gears and talk about our second machine, the VGT. You'll often find these in places like tribal casinos or racinos, mainly because of different local gaming rules. Now, this one is not a solo artist. No, this is a full-on team sport, and its brain is probably something you'd never expect. Yep, the brain of a VGT is a centralized bingo server. That's right, I said bingo. Every single one of those VGT machines you see is basically just a terminal that's connected to this huge, lightning-fast game of electronic bingo that's always running in the background. You're not playing against your machine, you're playing with a bunch of other people in a shared game. Now just look at how different this process is. When you press spin here, you're not kicking off an RNG. Nope. You're basically just buying a ticket into the next available bingo game. The central server gives you a virtual bingo card, it runs the draw, and it figures out if you won or not. And only after all of that is decided do the reels on your screen finally spin to put on a little show that represents that bingo result. This is honestly the part that blows my mind. On a VGT machine, those spinning reels are nothing more than a fancy animation. They're a visual story telling you about a bingo result that already happened on some server rack in a back room. The real game isn't even happening on the screen in front of you. And this quote from one of the sources we looked at just nails it. It says, "The on-screen spin reflects a result that has already been determined by the bingo process. It's like watching the final scene of a play where the ending was already written before the actors even stepped on stage." All right, so we've met both brains, we've seen how they work, so now let's put them head to head. This is really where it's all going to click into place. Let's break this down real quick. For the Vegas slot, the engine is its own internal RNG. That's our solo artist. For the VGT, the engine is that big central bingo server. That's the team sport. So a Vegas slot is a standalone game, but a VGT is just a terminal in a bigger game. A spin on one kicks off a new random results, but on the other, it just buys you into a bingo round. And get this last one, it's fascinating. On a VGT, bonuses aren't triggered by getting special symbols on the reels. They're triggered by hitting specific winning bingo patterns, like an X or a T. So now, for the fun part, We know how they really work, so let's use this knowledge to absolutely demolish some of the biggest myths you always hear people talking about on the casino floor. You know the one, oh, this machine is due for a win. Nope, that's false. The RNG has no memory, and every bingo game is a new independent draw. How about this one? You gotta bet max to get a bonus. On a VGT? Not really. Your bet size has zero effect on the bingo pattern you get. And that soul-crushing near miss where you almost won the jackpot on a VGT? Pure animation. The bingo game had already decided it was a loss before the reels even started spinning. So, after all of this, what's the actual takeaway here? Why does any of this even matter the next time you sit down to play?
Well, it really just boils down to this one simple thing. You just have to know what game you're really playing. Are you going head-to-head? Just you against the pure, cold math of a random number generator? Or are you joining this huge, shared game of high-speed bingo, where the slot machine is just the flashy, fun interface?
At the end of the day, as one of our sources points out, both of these systems are designed to be regulated forms of entertainment. The focus is on the presentation and enjoyment of the game. So understanding what's going on underneath it all just helps you walk in with your eyes wide open and, have more realistic expectations. And all of that leaves us with one last question. Now that you've seen the two different brains and you know what's really happening under the hood, which game are you more interested in playing? The solo artist or the team sport? It's your call.